You sit down to study. You promise yourself, just 30 minutes. But within 90 seconds, your hand has already reached for your phone, not because you decided to, but because something deeper decided for you. You can't focus for 10 straight minutes without your mind drifting. You open 5 tabs, 5 books, 5 projects, and finish none of them. Here's the truth nobody tells you. This isn't laziness. It's not a character flaw. Your brain has been programmed, quietly, repeatedly, one notification at a time, to crave cheap, instant dopamine. And once you understand that this is a program, not a personality trait, you can do something laziness shaming never let you do. Rewrite it. Today, we're going to uninstall that program and install a new one. One where your brain doesn't just tolerate hard work, but actually starts craving it. Fix the problem. You first have to see it clearly. Every time you scroll, every notification, every short video, they all deliver a tiny hit of dopamine. Fast, easy, free. And your brain, being efficient, learns a simple rule. Why work for a reward in 3 weeks when I can get one in 3 seconds? This is why you can start 100 things and finish almost none. Not because you lack ability, but because your brain has been recalibrated to expect immediate payoff. Studying for an exam, building a skill, writing a book, these all pay off later. And later has become a foreign language to a dopamine-trained brain. There's a second layer to this problem: tolerance. Just like with any addictive stimulus, the more cheap dopamine you consume, the less ordinary life satisfies you. A walk outside feels boring. A textbook feels unbearable. A conversation without a screen feels slow. Your baseline for interesting keeps rising, while your tolerance for effortful keeps shrinking. And here's the part that explains everything. This isn't really about focus. It's about comparison. Studying itself hasn't gotten harder. It's that your brain now compares it to scrolling, something 1,000 times more stimulating, and concludes that studying isn't worth the effort. So when people say, just try harder to concentrate, they're missing the real issue. You're not fighting a lack of willpower. You're fighting a dopamine gap. And willpower alone cannot outmuscle biology forever. You need a system that works with your brain's wiring, not against it. That's exactly what we're building next. Discipline isn't a personality trait some people are born with. It's a system, 5 repeatable habits that, together, retrain your brain to find satisfaction in difficulty instead of avoiding it. Habit 1, the 10-minute rule. Your brain resists starting far more than it resists continuing. So don't promise yourself 2 hours of studying. That's a wall your brain will refuse to climb. Instead, lie to it gently. I'll only do 10 minutes. 10 minutes feels harmless. Your brain says yes. And here's the secret. Once you're in motion, momentum takes over. Most of the time, you'll keep going far past 10 minutes because starting was the only real obstacle. The hardest part of any task isn't finishing it. It's beginning it. Habit 2, control the first hour. The first 60 minutes after you wake up set the tone for your entire dopamine baseline for the day. If the first thing you do is open your phone, you've just told your brain, fast rewards are today's priority. Everything afterward feels comparatively dull. Instead, protect that first hour. No phone. Let your brain wake up at its natural pace, through light, movement, water, quiet. You're not just avoiding distraction. You're keeping your dopamine baseline low enough that real tasks still feel rewarding later. Habit 3, micro habits. Big goals overwhelm the brain, and an overwhelmed brain defaults to escape, usually through your phone. The fix is to shrink the goal until it's almost impossible to refuse. Don't say, I will read this whole book. Say, I will read 2 pages. Don't say, I will master this subject. Say, I will solve 1 problem. Small wins compound. Each tiny success releases a small, earned dose of dopamine, the kind tied to genuine accomplishment, not escapism. Over weeks, these micro wins rebuild your brain's relationship with effort. Habit 4, build a deep work environment. Willpower is a finite resource, and every visible distraction quietly drains it, even when you're not using it. A phone sitting face up on your desk, a browser tab with 5 other sites open, a noisy room. Each one is a small tax on your focus, paid constantly, whether you give in or not. So design your environment to remove the choice entirely. Phone in another room. One tab, one task, a clear desk. When temptation isn't visible, it doesn't have to be resisted. And resistance is exactly what burns out your discipline by mid-afternoon. Habit 5, the evening report. At the end of each day, spend 2 minutes asking yourself one question. Did I keep the promise I made to myself this morning? This single habit closes the loop. It turns vague intentions into a relationship of trust between you and yourself. Most people fail at discipline not because they lack ambition, but because they've broken so many small promises to themselves that their own word means nothing anymore. The evening report rebuilds that trust, one honest check-in at a time. And trusting yourself is the actual foundation discipline is built on. Notice that none of these 5 habits rely on motivation. That's intentional. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. They show up some days and vanish on others. These habits work like a system instead of a feeling. The 10-minute rule defeats the resistance to starting. The protected first hour keeps your dopamine baseline stable enough for ordinary tasks to feel meaningful. Micro habits make consistency nearly effortless. Your environment removes temptation before willpower is even needed. And the evening report turns the whole thing into an honest feedback loop, where you can see your own progress instead of guessing at it. Together, they form a new program, one that runs quietly in the background the same way the old scrolling habit once did. Except this time, instead of dragging you toward 5-second distractions, it's pulling you toward the work that actually builds your future. This is what people mean when they say successful people don't have more willpower. They have better systems. Discipline was never a switch you flip on through sheer determination. It's infrastructure you build one habit at a time until the right choice becomes the easy choice. Discipline, at its core, is simply keeping the promises you make to yourself. Not big, dramatic ones, small, daily ones, repeated until they become identity. When you have a system like this, you stop waiting for motivation to magically appear before you start working. You don't need to feel ready. You just follow the steps, and the results follow you. So here's your challenge. Pick just one of these 5 habits and start today. Not all 5. One. And tell me in the comments, which one distracts you the most? Your phone, your environment, or your own broken promises to yourself? I read every comment, and your answer might become the topic of the next video. If this helped you see your own habits more clearly, subscribe, because next time we're going deeper into rebuilding your